Hello, everybody. My name is Gabriela Marrero. I am currently the Senior Assistant Dean of Admission at Colgate University. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight for our webinar for first generation students. I am joined by two lovely ladies tonight, one being Rajay Spencer, who is the current Assistant Dean for Administrative Advising, as well as the Director at First at Colgate, as well as Danny Macchiello, who is a current student that we would love to hear some of her experiences shared tonight. So we'll do a little bit of a discussion. I really want them to introduce themselves to you guys first and tell us a little more about their stories, and then we'll have just a short Q&A. And of course, if you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And before we officially get started, Rajay and Danny, if I could ask you guys to put your email in the chat, I will put mine in as well. So if we don't get to all of the questions today, just know that you can reach out to either of us for any further questions that you may have. I am currently the admission officer for Pennsylvania, Delaware, and the entire continent of Europe. So if you are from one of those lovely places, I would be your direct admission officer. But if you are not from one of those places, we have lots of other admission officers that would be able to help you out with any questions as well. So thank you both, and I will put mine in here as well. Okay, perfect. So, Rajay, would you like to go first? Introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about the program, how you got to Colgate, all that good stuff.
Sure. Thank you for having us. My name is Rajay Spencer. I serve as one of the administrative deans here at Colgate. So each student is assigned an administrative dean. That's how I started off at Colgate in July of 2020. Well, yeah, so this is my third academic year. And then October of 2020, I began as the director of First at Colgate. And so in that role, I work with first generation students here at Colgate, alongside our assistant director, Tabisha Raymond, who you'll have the opportunity to meet when you get here. And we provide a variety of different programs and support throughout the year for first generation students. And so early on, you're kind of flagged or tagged by admissions as first gen, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But you'll start receiving emails from us over the summer inviting you to different opportunities to engage throughout the school year. And we do have a pre-orientation program that will kick off in August, on August 16th. So you are welcome to sign up for that. It looks a little different every year, and we don't have the full schedule out yet at this point, but you'll have an opportunity to meet a couple upperclassmen or upper level students, excuse me, get to know campus early on before everyone gets here, and engage with different faculty and staff from across campus and some fun other things that we'll do.
So thank you so much, Rajay. Danny, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, class year, hometown, majors, any academic programs that you're interested in, all that good stuff.
Hi, I'm Danny Macchiello. I'm a first year, class of 2026, and I haven't decided on a major yet, but I'm thinking about either majoring in sociology or comp sci or both. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and what else? Some academic programs that I'm really interested in. I would say one program that I think is really good is definitely the SRS program, which I got accepted to participate in next year, which I'm very excited about.
Nice. Congratulations, Danny. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Well, you might be asking yourself, how do we define first generation? And in the admission office, when we read applications, we will determine whether or not a student is considered first gen or not. There are a couple categories as well. So first gen just generally being whether or not either of your parents have a bachelor's degree or higher. Then we have first gen like, which is, first gen like recent, which means one of your parents or guardians may have received a degree within 5 years or less. And then we also have first gen like international. So maybe your parents went to school abroad and maybe are underemployed here in the United States. So that's kind of the categories that we tend to look at when it comes to applications itself. Rajay, any other way you might define first gen?
Yeah, so for First at Colgate, we use those definitions that you work with in admissions. And then in addition, we also invite all of our OUS scholars to participate in First at Colgate, as well as our QuestBridge scholars. We know many of them are first generation, but not all, but have come from similar financial backgrounds and kind of can really relate to the experiences of our first gen students here on campus. And so all the three of the definitions that you mentioned, along with our OUS scholars and our QuestBridge scholars, will be able to participate in anything that we offer for First at Colgate. And it's not a, if I do this, I can't do that. Like you can totally do both. Like you can do everything that OUS offers and still participate in programming that First at Colgate offers.
Yeah, really great. And I think those programs are really just making sure that our first generation students and students alike are really comfortable on Colgate's campus, whether it's peer mentoring, community building, financial aid resources. We want to make sure that you feel supported through each year during your time at Colgate University. So it really is an incredibly supportive office with lots of resources for you to use. Now I'm going to turn the questions here to Danny since she is a current student. Danny, could you tell us a little more about your journey to Colgate? How were you introduced to Colgate? What your journey was like enrolling? If you could just share some of those experiences that you've had.
Um, sure. My journey to Colgate was unexpected because I was told Colgate's considered more like a baby Ivy, so I didn't think I would be able to go because of cost and everything. But I actually got access to Colgate through QuestBridge. I did like a QuestBridge application and I didn't make it to like semi-finalist. So I was kind of dejected, but I decided, well, since I could do it through QuestBridge, maybe it's in within the realm of possibility for me to go here. So I decided to apply and I got accepted and I got a full ride, which definitely helped in the decision making, I'm not gonna lie. And then I came and I visited the campus with my mother, and I just liked the small town vibes, and I liked the fact that everyone was very friendly, which I was not expecting. I was a little suspicious about it at first, but everyone here is really nice. Um, and it's very comforting, and it feels like a place that I am happy to be for 4 years.
Yeah, it's awesome, Danny. I would have to agree with you. I'm also not from Hamilton, New York. So when I first visited, everyone was very friendly. And I was like, what is this place? And Hamilton, fun fact, has actually been named one of the friendliest places in America, which is a real title that towns are given. So I would definitely agree with you that we have a really strong and friendly community here. Um, since you've come to Colgate, Danny, can you tell us a little more about how you've been able to find your community? And what clubs and just like extracurriculars that you've gotten involved with?
Um, I've, I at the beginning of the semester, I got involved with a lot because I got some interesting advice. Someone told me to do all the clubs you can and then just pick the ones that you like the most. That didn't work out for me, but I did find ones that I did like. So I mostly do SORT, Sisters of the Round Table, which is like kind of the community of color on campus, like and female identifying students that we come together and we just talk about issues or just anything really to bring us together as a community. And another thing that I'm really involved with is Midnight Philosophy, where we go to Donovan's Pub, one of the eating places on campus, and we just talk about different like philosophical questions until 1 a.m. And it's really interesting conversation.
Nice. That sounds
Oh,
wonderful.
sorry.
Yeah.
One more. Also, African Student Union, which I've become more involved in.
Danny was also
Sorry,
the
I'm
star of
done.
a theater production in the fall.
Ah,
Oh, that is fantastic. What was the production, Danny?
it was Sanctuary. It's called Sanctuary City. I actually have a poster like that right there. The
Nice.
poster for Sanctuary City.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. As we are kind of just Colgate in general is entering its third century as an institution, part of our third century plan is kind of just getting more involved with the art scene. And we're actually building a couple new places around campus, one specifically being a center for the arts that our students can really utilize in the future. So we're really, really excited about that specific project. And our arts community is only growing stronger on campus. So that makes me so happy. That's fantastic. Let me know if you're in anything, this upcoming semester of the fall. I love theater in general. So that's awesome. Rajay, could you also just tell us a little more maybe about some of the offices that students might be interacting with, some more details about the supports that first generation students can expect at Colgate?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, everyone has an administrative dean. So our office is definitely the place to be. Whether or not you are in a moment of crisis or you just need to grab some coffee between class, like the administrative dean's office is in McGregory Hall, definitely the place to stop by, chat with your dean, and really get to know them because they're there to work with you throughout your 4 years and help support you along your journey, whatever that may look like, whatever you want to make it look like. Your dean is able to support you in that and connect you to different resources and offices on campus. We work closely with a lot of different offices between First at Colgate and the administrative deans. There's a Center for Learning, Teaching, and Research, which is a campus office that works with professors on, designing curriculum and things for their classes, but they also have a student-facing side, which provides free tutoring for different subjects, help with study skills and time management. And then there's also the Office of Student Disability Support Services. So if you have a learning disability or a physical disability and you need some support on campus, whether that be something that you enter the university knowing about, or you happen to break your leg, unfortunately, throughout your time at Colgate, like you can find support through that office. In addition to that office, there's career services. They have a 4-year career development plan, and so you want to get connected early and often, and we make sure to do that through our pre-orientation program to connect you with career services. There's a team in career services that are identify as first gen and work really well with our students, and can tell you about some more different opportunities. One of the big things that Career Services does is offer a summer funding application. So decisions just went out about that, where students can apply for summer funding for an internship they may have that's underpaid, or they want to do some research or a special project. Those are all things that you can apply for summer funding for. The Center for Learning, Teaching, and Research also coordinates summer research partnerships with faculty as well. So students pair up with faculty. Sometimes it's a one-on-one thing, sometimes it's 5 students and 1 faculty member, but they work on different projects in different areas, STEM and non-STEM. So you can totally do any type of research here. There's also the Office of National Fellowships and Scholarships. So if you're thinking about things outside of Colgate, maybe after graduation, exploring the world a little bit more, doing some more research and engaging in different communities, so we connect you with that office. There's the Alana Cultural Center. They offer a variety of programming throughout the year. Our Counseling Center and Haven provide counseling and group therapy, as well as survivor support. Trying to think of what else. We have our Office of LGBTQIA plus initiatives. They have a ton of great programming throughout the year. Leosha, the director, is very energetic, and will keep you, laughing and joking. He always stops by our office for coffee too, so you can catch him in there if you can't catch him at an event, in between things throughout the day. We also work closely with our Office of Communications in terms of communicating with parents and families about first-gen experiences and what they can expect and how to best support students. Who else? The Cove. Oh yeah, the Cove. So our Cove is like our center, our hub on campus for volunteerism. And so if you're interested in being active in the community, a lot of students are engaged in different programs that the Cove offers, both in Hamilton and neighboring cities, or villages, because it's a small rural area. but they work on all types of things. I know my son in particular, he's connected with a mentor through the Cove. She's a first-year student. And he's also done HOG, the Hamilton Outdoor Group, with them. Um, Lots of different clubs and stuff at the local school, and tutoring in some of the neighboring counties through the Cove, as well as alternative spring break trips and winter break trips, which are really great, where you get to go and travel with a group to like North Carolina or Louisiana, someplace like that. I was a first generation college graduate, and during my years in undergrad, I did a service trip as part of a class, and it was a really good experience. So I always recommend that to students as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Rajay. I could not have said it better myself. That was fantastic. So as you guys can see, there are a ton of offices on campus, a ton of just staff and faculty that are really, really committed to, again, just making you feel comfortable and supported. Before I move on to the next question for our panelist here, I do want to encourage our participants or viewers at home today to put any questions in the chat that you may have. Danny or Rajay can kind of give you a lot of perspective on their end. So if you do have a question, feel free to include it in the chat and we'll see if we can chat about it. Otherwise, we'll kind of keep this discussion going here. Danny, as far as, again, your just experience on campus, are there any particular resources that you have found really valuable just within your first year here?
I would say I'm gonna go the cliche way and definitely say professor's office hours, because I didn't utilize that my first semester, and I'm not gonna lie, the grades were looking a little bit questionable. But ever since I started connecting more with my professors and going to office hours, I've been doing a lot better, and I've gotten to know them somewhat now, and that's really useful. And the other one that I would say is definitely Dean Spencer's office. She's not lying about the dean's office being the place to be. I definitely go there for some cookies when I'm very hungry and I skipped breakfast. And she's just a really great person to talk to when you're just stopping by. And also, the what is Tabisha's official title?
Assistant director for First at Colgate.
The assistant director of First at Colgate, my boss. She is a fantastic resource as well. I feel like besides my own room, I live in her office, and she's very supportive. So when you guys come on campus, you should definitely get close with Tabisha. She's there for you for everything.
Awesome. I love it. Now, I believe we are all first gen, either graduates or students on the webinar tonight. So if you guys could, going back to your first year self, what advice would you give to these students that are kind of coming into their first year at Colgate? This specific webinar is targeted towards admitted students, so they'll be moving in August. We're so excited to have them. So just any general advice that you might want to share with them.
Yes, I would say get involved. Find 2 or 3 things that you're super passionate about and get involved. That is one of my regrets from college. I have 2. So not being involved. I worked all the time as a first gen student. I worked to take care of myself. I worked over 30 hours a week most times, and then I overloaded on classes, trying to graduate early. It's a whole big mess, right? So I could have done more with my experience. I did get a chance to study abroad, which was really amazing. So definitely do that. And there's lots of opportunities to do that at Colgate, whether it's for a whole semester, multiple semesters back to back. I have students that are going away for all of next year as their junior year, or if it's like an extended study or the SRS program that Danny mentioned earlier, those all have a travel component too. So I would definitely say study abroad, get involved. Again, find 2 or 3 things that you're passionate about. I recommend like finding something that's going to push you forward in terms of your career. So maybe you like business, right? You want to go into business. So like join the accounting club, right? Find something that's gonna be a stress relief for you, whether that's dance, club tennis, whatever the case is. And then something that kind of ties you back to your roots, whether that's a religious group or a cultural group on campus. There's lots of different clubs and organizations that you can join, hundreds of them. And so find 2 or 3 things to get involved in. And my dad always says, let them tell you no, don't tell yourself no. So I would say like, even if you apply for something and you don't get it the first time, like try again the next year, or find something else. Like don't fear rejection, because it's a part of the growing process. It's a part of getting involved and making the most of your experience. My first year, I applied for a job on campus as a student kind of ambassador for annual fund. So we call alumni and parents to ask for donations towards the school. I didn't get it my first semester, but I applied again my second semester, and then I worked there my entire 3 years of undergrad, and then eventually became the student supervisor my last year. So, sometimes things don't work out the first time, but try again, don't give up, and find something else that you are interested in.
Excellent advice, Rajay. Thank you so much for sharing. Danny, how about you? Anything to share with our first gen students?
Um, I would say one of the things on campus that I feel like is important to a lot of students is having a community. And it was a bit difficult for me to find one at the beginning of the first semester because I'm more introverted. So I would probably say during pre-orientation and during orientation when you have like your first your FSEM group, definitely make friends with those people or be friendly with them because you're going to spend a lot of time with them and you have them for an entire semester. You're going to be taking a class together. And from my experience, you're probably going to be living in the same building. Everyone from my SM lives on my floor. It's kind of creepy, personally, but they're there.
Well, it's
And
intentional.
I mean, I get it's intentional, but like, really? But it is really nice because you have familiar faces on the floor already, people that you know and that you can talk to, and you can like you go, you go down the hall, you can say hi if you need something, you have those people there, and it's like it's the first community that you'll have here, and I feel like when you have that first community and it's a good community, it really sets you off to build better relationships and communities throughout the semester. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny. I've heard some really epic group chats have come out of like the housing, for first year students because your orientation people are the same people in your dorm, all that good stuff. So I've heard some really good stories about just community building and that connection during your first year. So that's fantastic. And I do want to emphasize too, Colgate University is a liberal arts institution, which means we want you to study your major. And you certainly don't have to declare your major the first year that you're there. We definitely want to give you some time to kind of figure out what you like, what you don't like, all that good stuff. But there will be kind of a core curriculum that every student will have to take certain classes in certain categories. And it really kind of just unites our students in their studies. Danny and Rajay, either one of you, could you talk a little more about just liberal arts education, maybe Danny, some of the classes you might have taken that you've enjoyed, and how, that flexibility can really help you throughout your academic career?
I can start. So I think I really like the liberal arts aspect because I've taken a class that I never would have thought I would have taken. Acting one was my FSEM last semester, and personally, I never would have applied for an acting class because that's just not unheard of in my house. Like if I told my father oh, I had an acting class, he would look at me twice, questioning me. Anyways, but through that class, I really had some fun times, and it was actually because of that class that I was in the production that Dean Spencer mentioned, because my professor of that class was the producer of the play that I starred in. So I made a really good connection through that play, like with other people. And it was just a really fun class. And because of that class, I'm also thinking of maybe minoring in acting, like theater, because I find that I really like it. So yeah, that's
Awesome.
it.
Thank you, Danny. Rajay, anything to add there?
Yeah, so the curriculum is designed so that you kind of explore a little bit of everything. As Danny mentioned, you'll take your FSIM, which is your first year seminar. Everyone takes one. There's a million, well, not a million, but quite a few different topics out there. And your FSIM instructor becomes your academic advisor for your first year, year and a half or so, until you officially declare your major. And as Gabriella mentioned, like you're not expected to declare your major first year. The deadline is actually right before spring break of your sophomore year. So you have some time to explore and take different classes. And then, like I said, try to speed date the faculty. So if you know, like you're interested in economics, take a look at their website, look at the faculty bio, see whose research interests might align with yours, and go have some coffee with them and have a conversation about, their journey through higher ed and some of the work that they've done. Because then you'll pick your advisor in declaring your major as a faculty member in that department later on. But definitely don't want to stress you out about that. It's really a 2-minute process once you figure out what you want to do. But in the meantime, like I said, you'll take classes in a variety of different subjects. You'll have different core requirements. So everyone's going to take some sort of math or science, whether or not you want to major in it, like you're going to explore that area. There's religion courses, there's language courses. There's like a really wide range of classes that you'll be able to take and explore. And it's really great because it helps you build and enhance different skills you have. I think with a lot of first generation students, we often think, okay, I've got to major in this because I want to be this, and this is what makes money. And so I have to major in biology per se, right? But there's so much more out there for you to explore. And as I mentioned, I have a couple of regrets for undergrad, and one of them was not visiting career services. So I would encourage you to do that early and often, starting your first year. Like, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do, just go have a conversation. But through the liberal arts curriculum, you'll get a variety of exposure to different things that you might not have otherwise tried. And you're able to build new skills. Like employers are looking for students that are able to work collaboratively. Like those are all important skills you learn through the liberal arts curriculum and not necessarily a specific major. And so think about your major as something that you're passionate about, and maybe you want to explore it for the next 3 to 5 years after graduation. It doesn't have to be something you want to do for 30 to 50 years, but go out there and explore and take new classes and really like take advantage of the opportunity because it only comes once.
Awesome. Thank you, Rajay. Really, really good words of advice there. And I think, again, just personally speaking on my experience as a first gen graduate, when we say, seek out your supporters, seek out these offices, we mean it. And I think that's something that I hesitated to with as a student. I was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to ask for help. Is that a sign of weakness? Absolutely not. Those offices and resources are put there for a reason. And again, any way that we can connect you to someone or something that might help you be successful during your time at Colgate, we want to make that happen. So I think personally, my best advice is just ask for help, ask for those additional resources because they're here for you, and take every opportunity with that, especially with career services, especially first at Colgate. Pre-orientation programs, they're really, really built for your ultimate success there. Good stuff. I don't see any questions in the chat, so we'll kind of just keep this discussion going a little further. Most important question, Rajay and Danny, favorite spots on campus, 2 categories, dining and also just like overall. What are your favorite spots on campus?
Ooh.
I can start. I have a few.
Great.
This is this is actually because I would personally recommend your first like during pre like orientation week or pre-orientation week, visit all the buildings on campus. That sounds extreme, but I now know where everything is, and I felt so proud as a freshman that I can give seniors directions, and you've been here 4 years, and I'm directing you. But I think one of my favorite places, my favorite building on campus is definitely Lathrop. I think they have a really nice study space. It's on the 3rd floor. It's third, 4th floor. The 4th floor is more like a balcony area. But they have a really nice study space. It's like quiet, it's calm. My second favorite one would be the Keck Center. That's a little bit more biased because I'm a lover of languages. I really like languages, and the Keck Center is like our language center. So it also has a very nice study space. The third favorite place would probably be we have like dorms, Pynchon and Burke, which are the nicer ones that students on campus call like the castle dorms. Um, and there's like a hill behind them, and that hill in the summer is the best spot to like to see the sunset and the stars. Beautiful. So that's probably
Mm.
where I would say dining in Frank. There's like in the very back section because I'm introverted, so I like to eat in peace and quiet. In the very back of Frank, there's like a little place where I call the alcove. If you ever need to get work done or just some peace and quiet, it's the best place to be.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Danny. Rajay, how about you?
So, outside of my office, because that's where all the lively stuff happens, I would say I love Benton, which is the career services building, because of the windows. Like, there are beautiful
Yes.
views. Campus is so pretty during the fall semester, well, at least the first few weeks before all the leaves fall off the trees. And you have like amazing views from the windows in there. So definitely in there. And there's classes that are offered there too, not just career services. So you might have a class in there. Um, and then another great place on campus would be the Chapel House. So it's half chapel, half house. We did a tour there to our free orientation program, but you can go there to meditate. It's also a retreat center, so people come from all over the country to spend a weekend there. As a student, you can do it too. I think it's like $25 for the night. And then there's also like scholarships available if, it's cost is a concern. There are scholarships available. But it's a place where you can go and retreat and you're on campus, but you're away from campus. Like you don't engage with the campus at all. You're just at this retreat center. There are meals provided. And then there's all kinds of very cool artifacts from all over the world. And it's this place where you can just be at peace and kind of reset and recenter. And there's great views there too. You can sit in the Dalai Lama's chair and look out the window into the forest. So
Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I love it. Yeah, definitely a huge theme of views on campus. Our campus is very hilly, but it really is worth the payoff. We have a really gorgeous campus and just the surrounding area in Hamilton. And I'll have to agree with Rajay there. Fall is definitely the best season on campus. I'm a little biased, but it was gorgeous last year, so I'm excited for this year too. Great. Well, we don't have any additional questions. So I just want to thank Rajay and Danny again for your time tonight. Any last pieces of advice for our first generation students before we log off tonight?
if you have
Mm.
questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Like you're not here yet, but we're still here for you. So if you have questions about Colgate and what to expect, or you're feeling a little nervous about coming, just reach out. We're happy to talk.
I would probably say the same thing. Is it okay? Can I actually put my number in the chat? Would they see it?
I believe so. If you would like to, Danny, only if you're comfortable.
I am really comfortable because in my experience, when I was coming to Colgate, I was kind of scared to ask faculty and staff for questions. But I had an alumni that was very close to me. I wasn't close to him, but he would often reach out and ask questions like how I'm doing, am I adjusting well? If I had like questions, I feel like that one-on-one contact was a lot easier. So now because I'm in a place that I can offer that contact, I would like to. So I'm gonna put my number in the chat.
Yeah, great, Danny. And again, you make a great point. It definitely can be intimidating kind of reaching out to faculty and staff. And I think, again, with the first generation students on our campus, again, really great at building that community and kind of lifting each other up, even just within the student population. So, yeah, thank you, Danny. I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah.
Good
If
stuff.
you get lost on campus, just find Danny. She'll direct you to where you need to go.
Definitely. It seems like a big campus at first, but I promise it won't take you super long to kind of get acquainted with everything. So, thank you to Rajay and Danny again. I really appreciate your time. And just to reiterate Rajay's message, please reach out to us, whether it's to Rajay, Danny, or even me at the admission office. We are here to answer any of the questions that you have. And again, congratulations on your acceptance. We are so, so, so excited to have you on campus in the fall. So yes, we will see you then. And thank you all again. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. the